É que tem o Lucas, que é o rapaz que tá na transmissão. Ele parecia que tava falando alguma coisa. Ah, pode começar, já tá.
Mas vocês estão me ouvindo?
A gente, acho que tem que aumentar um pouquinho dele. A gente só vai aumentar um pouquinho teu volume. Agora sim. Fala alguma coisa, por favor. Lucas, pode falar um pouquinho?
Oi, um, dois, três.
Tá bom, né?
Hello, hello, hello.
Ah, agora tá muito alto? Um pouquinho mais baixo, um pouquinho. Good evening, everyone. So tonight we're going to start the Bancas with Natalia. She's going to present her TCC. You can say the name of your TCC. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for the family. Thank you, Professor Lucas. Thank you, Professor Francini and Professor Giuliani. Thank you to all TI that's making it all possible. And good luck. Good evening, everyone. Today I'll be talking about my final paper of her name, the Didactic sequence and its potential to develop language capacities. I would like to thank my family who have helped me immensely throughout this journey. Thank you so much. I also would like to thank my advisor, Professor Priscilla, and my examining board, and also my professors for their teachings in all the subjects, especially applying linguistics and teaching practice that helped me find my way as a teacher. Beside this moment, my presentation is divided in 8 parts: extent of the problem, objectives, research questions, theoretical methodological framework, methodology, analysis, conclusions, and references. I will start to tell you the reason that I chose to do this research. It all starts with the disciplines PX2 and applied linguistics that helped me to create the didactic sequence, and the team came about through the mini course Sex Education, Why, For Whom, You Are. And now these came together with the need to develop a material that addressed the issues of preferred name, since this seems not to be discussed in the schools. Moving on the objective, the general objective is analyze a didactic sequence created by me on the theme of preferred name to aim the English teachers to teaching English through the important and critical theme. Specifically, the study seeks to describe the didactic sequence, discuss which language capacities can be developed, and point out possible gaps to adapt it by referring English language teachers the possibility of exploring gender diversity respectfully and critically. Now let's discuss the research questions. The study seeks to answer 3 main questions. Does the didactic structure correspond to the scheme proposed by socio-discursive interactionists? Which activities have the potential to develop in students' language capacities? And consider the gaps. What modifications should be implemented? This leads me to my next point, is my theoretical methodological framework. The study is based on socio-discursive interactionism, with the key reference to scholars such as Banca, especially with regard to the special interest in analysis of communicate action, given the fundamental role it has attributed to language in human development. The second point is the didactic sequence defined by Dawes, Nobrehas, and Chenelly as a piece of material using textual genres, systematically mix together various school activities to help the student better understand the journey, enable them to write or speak more adequately in each communication situation. Additionally, the study draws to the concept of language capacities defined by Dawes and Shanley, and the researchers Cristóvão and Studzen add more capacities after. Dawes and Shanley initially established three language capacities: action capacities, discursive capacities, and linguistic discursive capacities. Cristóvão and Studzen add the signification capacity and Lanharo add multisemiotic capacities. The types of question, traditional reading, critical reading, and critical literacy also contribute to the production of the didactic sequence. Our analysis was based on the following table, which explains each language capacity data. Let's turn now to the methodology. In terms of methodology, the research employs the descriptive approach to describe the didactic sequence and use a deductive and qualitative approach to discuss which language capacities can be developed in certain activities in the didactic sequence. Let's move to the analysis of the didactic sequence. The analysis shows that the didactic sequence address the assumptions of the social-discursive interactionism, as is followed the structure established by Dawes, Oberhas, and Shanley. The activities in the didactic sequence are designed to develop language capacity in a spiral manner, sometimes focused on a single capacity and sometimes focused on multiple capacities simultaneously. To illustrate this point, we have some images of the didactic sequence. We can see here the cover of the didactic sequence and the summary showing its contents. There is a section for the teacher and a part of the contextualization when the students get to know more about the preferred name. The project presentations when they will know about the general, the poster, and the first production. The model 1 is about pronouns, and the model 2 about WH questions. There is the second production, and the model 3 about imperative clauses. And the final production and the self-evaluation. And the occurrences of the didactic sequence. After analyzing the structure of the didactic sequence, we are able to analyze what activities has the potential for the development of the language capacities. Here we can see the contextualization has potential to develop capacities for action, linguistic discursive, and signification. The project presentation has the potential to develop action capacities, discursive capacity, signification capacity, and multisemiotic capacities. And the first production has the potential to develop capacities for linguistic discursive and multisemiotic. The model 1 about pronouns has the potential to develop capacities for linguistic discursive, action, and signification. The model 2 about WH question has the potential to develop linguistic discursive capacities and signification capacities. And the second production has potential to develop all the language capacities: action capacities, discursive capacity, linguistic discursive capacity, signification, and multisemiotic capacities. The model 3 about imperative clause has the potential to develop linguistic discursive capacities and signification capacities, and the final production also has the potential to develop all the language capacities. After This we consider is necessary to make some change to improve the didactic sequence, such as paper formatting, improving the explanation of some activities, and adding more information or guidelines for the teacher. Therefore, we conclude the study achieving its goal by providing an insightful of the analysis of the didactic sequence. This allows for a better understanding of how different activities improve specific capacities, language capacities. The study identified potential gaps and offered strategies to resolve these. Through the analysis, it was found that activities in the didactic sequence has a very potential of developing language capacities. The action capacity stood out as the more prominent to develop action capacity, presenting 34% of the activities, followed by discursive capacity and semiotic capacity, presenting 22% of the text. And the discursive linguistic capacity and signification capacity also were identified in the didactic sequence in 11% of the activities. Through the analysis, it is our belief that based on finding the research, we can provide for English teachers a material that corresponds to the needs important in a respectful and critical manner, additionally through the creation of language capacities, we are able to raise awareness on the social identity of transgender individuals. These are my references, and thank you. Agora vamos passar a fala para o membro 1 da banca, professor Lucas Giacometti de P.
Hello, my babies. Can you hear me? Yeah? I cannot hear you. You're muted. Hello, everyone. First, I would like to start by saying that I miss you all terribly. I was watching you enter the class and I was thinking how much I miss you guys. I'll go to Pucarana one day. One day, when I have a car, I'll go there and visit you. I'll surprise you in a class, I guess. So I would like to start by saying that, well, first and foremost, congratulations to you, Nachi. Congratulations to your advisor, Professor Francini. Now we have something in common. Francini has also helped me. She has also helped me in my academic journey. So we have that in common. We were both helped by Francini a lot. Yeah. So I'd like to congratulate you both on a very, very beautiful piece of text, of a research. I think tonight is a night of celebration. Yeah, so we should all celebrate because it's just the final step and the first step at the same time. So you're finishing your first graduation. Now you're going to go to higher ground. So congratulations to everyone. Also, I would like to say hello specifically to JV, to Ubu, and to Pedro. I was watching you guys on YouTube. That was beautiful to see you guys talk. So I have already read your text and I have made some appointments. I've sent the PDF file to Francini. So a more detailed version of what I'm gonna say is already in Francini's hands. Yeah, so you can sit together later on and you can discuss it with your advisor. But tonight I'm gonna just comment on a few things. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Yeah, be ready to answer. Be ready to answer. So I would like to start by saying that your didactic sequence is very, very dear to my heart. It's dear to my heart because I was there when he was born. Yeah, so he was born during our classes, PX2, which was part of my extension project it was all about didactic sequences. And I remember you coming to me and say, so I have this idea for Juliane's class, I want to make a didactic sequence about this theme. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, so I have done my part. So she's already going towards what I wanted her to go. So she's developing critical thinking. She's constructing a didactic sequence that is very, very necessary, right? So I would like to congratulate you on choosing this theme. Talking about serious topics with kids, it's not something that is easy to do. It's not easy to do at all. And most people are not courageous enough to do it. Most people, they do not, or not only they're not courageous, sometimes they're just not in the mood to be political or to talk about sensitive situations, sensitive topics, like topics of power. So to see didactic sequences that touch on queer issues and that touch on racism and all of those things that are hard to talk about with kids, it brings me so much joy because I feel like you guys are going in the right direction. Yes, so I'd like to congratulate you on that. Now, if we go deeper into the didactic sequence, I think it's a great example of like a great model of a didactic sequence, mostly because not only regarding the structure, but also regarding the worry and the concern regarding language capacities. Yeah, so a lot of people, the word didactic sequence is thrown around a lot. So a lot of people say, oh, I work with didactic sequences, I make didactic sequences with my, to my students. And most of the time what they're talking is that they create a sequence of activities, which is not the same thing as a didactic sequence. Yeah, so you have to follow a lot of detailed procedures in order to call your material ADS. And I think you have done that wonderfully. Yeah, you have all these steps, you have this worry regarding language capacities, there is critical development, critical thinking development, there is a chance to redo your work, the modules are very well thought out. So I think that is something to be commendable. Talisa sent me a message. I was worried. Okay, so let's keep going. One thing that I also loved about your text is how you translated the quotes and then you added the original quotes in Portuguese or in any original language. To me, that shows a really high level of ethic concern. Yeah, so you have translated something that another person has said. So you added the original version just to be, to be transparent with what you're quoting. So to me, that is commendable as well. The theoretical framework is great. It's the same one I use. It's the same one I echo. Yeah, so I echo Michelangelo a lot. I echo Cristóvão a lot. Yeah, so I liked that you showed the original structure of a DS, and then you went to show a more contemporary configuration, which is also the one we use and the one we studied during PX2, right? The theme, of course, is amazing. I think that you managed to touch on something that is very difficult to touch on in a way that it is sensitive. It's a way that it is beautiful. It's like it's an easy process for the students. There's no hard texts. There's no like hard imagery. You're doing it in a way that is very light. Yeah, so it's almost bubbly. Your DS is almost like very, very happy and cheerful and bubbly. And you're talking about something that is often dark. Yes, a lot of people are misgendered. A lot of people, they do not have the right to choose their social and preferred names. So you manage to do this in a way that's very light and very, easy for the students. I would assume. Yeah. Another thing that I really liked about your text is that you went through a very thorough analysis of the DS. right? So you went in activity by activity and you told us what each activity meant. Yeah, so this shows us a level it shows us that you are a researcher, very compelled towards, showing every aspect of your analysis, showing every aspect of the procedures you have followed in order to reach your conclusions. I like that very, very, very much. Last year, Giovanna did something very similar. Yeah, so she also went through activity by activity, and I think that is very important because in humane sciences, usually people like to point that our analyses are a little bit like all over the place. We don't have a lot of we don't follow a lot of procedures and a lot of framework. But you managed to prove them wrong. Actually, we have been doing this a lot. We have been being very, very detailed, very, concerned with showing every little bit of our analysis. So I think you have done that very, very well. Now, I have some things that I would like to talk to you a little bit. I don't know how much time I have left. But if I go over the 10 minutes, that's okay, because I deserve it, and you too. So one thing I'm going to ask you. Oh, wait, someone sent me a message. I have 3 minutes. Okay, yeah. So 3 things I would like you to discuss a little bit further with Francine. Yeah, I think you could use a little expansion on the methodology section. Yeah, I know it's not a dissertation. Yeah, so the methodology section doesn't have to be like huge. But I think you can use a little bit more work. Maybe just designing a table that connects the objectives and the guiding questions and the analysis procedures. I kind of missed that in the methodology section. Also, something in the very beginning, I would avoid questions that the answer is yes or no. So one of your questions is, does the didactic sequence something? Yes, and the answer is either yes or no. So to me, that is something to be avoided because it kind of kills the discussion. If the answer is just yes, or if the answer is just no, there's nowhere to go from that. Yeah, so you kind of have to maybe use other words like words like how far, how much, so the answer is not just yes or no. Now, this is something very important. One last thing before I ask you a few questions, just 2 questions, okay? So the language capacities, we separate them to talk about them, to discuss them, to analyze them. So there's 5 language capacities, and we separate them because it's easier to kind of like perceive the function of each. However, on our daily lives, we access every language capacity at the same time. There's not one social practice. There is not one moment in our life where we're using language that we just use one language capacity. We just access another language capacity. They are all accessed at the same time. Like think of clogs in a watch. Yeah, so like think of clogs. When one clog moves, every clog moves as well. So one thing that if you have plans to publish this or to maybe go towards a master's or something, I think you should maybe change the textualization of the text a little bit. So instead of saying this activity develops this language capacity, I think you should say it focuses on developing this action capacity, because every activity has the potential to develop all language capacities. Yes, of course, when we create activities, we think, I want to develop these capacities. Yeah, we think of activities with a focus, with an objective. Yeah, so this is something we all do. But maybe in the textualization, maybe you should avoid saying that this activity only developed this one. So it is focused on this one. It is maybe the goal is to develop this one, but the idea is that they all work together at the same time. Yeah, so only these three comments that I would like you to discuss. I would like you to discuss with Francine later on. Yeah, maybe before handing in the final version of your text. I have just two questions. Don't kill me. Question number one: how, in your opinion, how has the extension opportunities of Inspire, how has it affected your practice as a teacher and as a researcher? So that is my first question.
I think all the disciplines we have during the course, create a didactic sequence, analyze them, make me able to do this in my practice as a teacher, so I can, when I am teaching my students, I can be more, bring more activities for developing the critical thinking. I can, I don't know, but I can be able to prepare activities more meaningful, so I can take care with their team. So I think the students I can propose activities for the development of the language capacities, the critical thinking. I think help me in this way.
Yeah, so you would say that extension movements in the university, so like extension projects, do you think they have helped you in doing that?
Oh, yes, because the idea of the didactic sequence, the teams came about to the mini course. So there is calling extension project and the mini course. So my idea for the team came about the mini course. So if I don't have didn't have participate, maybe I didn't think about this.
Great, perfect. Just one last question. Do you want to go towards a master's or a postgraduate course? Because I think it would be a great opportunity for you to use this DS in a classroom and kind of analyze what happens. Yeah, so I think it would be a great opportunity. Do you want to keep going?
Yes, I have plans to apply the didactic sequence and collect data for future publication. So I have plans to do this.
Yeah, I think it would be beautiful if you managed to use this DS in a class and check the results. I think it would be really, really nice. It's the same thing I said to Giovanna last year. I think you both share you share a point. Yeah, you share a objective. So I think you should both do this. But this is it. Thank you very much, Nachi. It was a pleasure. You know, I'm very, very fond of you and very, very fond of your work. I'm very, very proud. So congratulations to you and to Francine. Yes, and I hope to be invited next year, okay? Listen, third year students. I hope to be invited next year.
Thank you. Now we're going to listen to Professor Juliana. Natalia, congratulations. Finally, the last part of this journey. Thank you, Francine. Thank you, Natalia, for inviting me to be part of this board. First of all, Natalia, I have here the PDF with all my comments. I highlighted some parts and then I wrote like a Word document. I'll transfer to PDF later. And it has a description of the color because it's like Post-its with colors. Well, first of all, when I saw your theme, when I saw your invitation, and I read the title, I was very happy to see that DS came from things you have done before. This is something I say to all of the students. Take advantages of things you do throughout the course. So you don't have to do further work. You take advantages of things you have done. So you did that. You're very practical, and you said, okay, I did this, so I'm gonna analyze this. This gave me a lot of work. I put in so much work on this, so I'll use this for something else. And this is an advice that I give to everyone. And you did it very well. So as Lucas said, the choice of the topic is very important too. It's something that needs to be complemented. It is very courageous to speak up for minorities in our practice as teachers. So you did this very well. I remember your didactic sequence in our subject in applied linguistics, and it was I will remember this forever. It was beautifully done. Well, so I'll go now part by part, okay? Well, the abstract is well written with the main objective and specific objectives clearly defined. As I said yesterday, I like to see the objects be repeated in the sections of the work because it shows it's the same object. You don't lose sight of your research, what your specific objectives clearly. In the introduction, I like it that you mentioned the motivations to write your paper. Something I said yesterday to Bruno. You have scientific and personal motivations. You start your introduction talking about the motivations to write this paper, and this is brilliant. I also like the third research questions because it's very, again, courageous to take some time to think what can be done, what can be improved by your work. Because sometimes we are so deep in the investigation that we forget that our paper is not perfect. We are going to finish it, and we are still going to see and read after sometimes and see things we could have improved. And this third research question shows that you're critical enough to criticize your own work, which is very good. I will just adjust the last paragraph and then you can read my comments. Okay, there are lots of short periods that can be transformed in more coherent paragraph. Okay. Now talking about the theoretical framework, I think you brought important authors to the field. You cite brilliant authors, people who are referenced in the field of applied linguistics, especially in the genre studies, in the social interactionism. There is just the last section. I think seems a little bit lost in your research. I think it's 2.4, if I'm not mistaken. When you try to connect the official documents, official documents and their connection with the didactic sequence. You mentioned the OSCE, which is not used anymore. It is now replaced by the BNCC, and you bring critical literacy. I know your DS has the potential to develop a critical literacy, but you haven't talked about critical literacy before. So it appears here and that's it. And so I think you should write something different or change or just exclude this. Okay? It doesn't affect your work. Okay? Let me come back here. Okay. Now talking about your methodology, as Lucas said, it's not a dissertation, but I missed some parts. I missed a part telling how you created the DS. You mentioned it was through the project and the applied linguistics class and the mini course. And then I wrote that, and then I saw that you wrote what I wanted. But I think it should be in the methodology part. In the beginning of the analysis, you say, oh, my didactic sequence has 20 something pages, blah, blah, blah. I think this part should be in the methodology, like material description or didactic sequence description, okay? And you can tell more about your ideas, how you have the ideas to write something like this, okay? Another thing, I would suggest that you explain more your choices, your methodological choices. You say it's a qualitative research, but it's about the nature of the research is qualitative. You have nature of the research, we have the type of research, and we have the type of analysis, which are three different things, okay? And you mention on everything as approach. Qualitative approach, the commentary approach, which are three different things, okay? So I suggest that you explain better why this research is has a qualitative nature, why is this a documentary research, and why is this you use it in detective analysis, why this is interpreted study, okay? Well, that being said, we go to the results and discussion. I love table 2. I think it's a good way to show the information. That table that you showed in the slides, it's very helpful. It's didactic. I also like the way you analyze the language capacities, distributing them throughout the text in subsections, okay? It was very clear to see each one of them. And again, I congratulate you about the possibility to criticize your own work, seeing gaps in your DS, okay? So in the conclusion, you just sum up the research. I think your conclusion section lacks some points, such as what are the limitations of your paper, what can be researched in the same area, expanding your research, for example, how does this research contribute to the field of applied linguistics, okay? You have these answers, you just have to write, okay? Further than that, I'm very proud of your work, Natalia. I'm very happy to see that you followed this suggestion I gave you a few years ago. For sure, you have saved some time during this process. Keep studying, keep researching. I know you apply all of these in your practical work right now. And congratulations on a very interesting paper. But I have two questions. One of them was asked by someone from Google before, but that's fine. And in some kind of way, you answered the other question. I was intrigued to know if you applied the research, the DS, but you already said that you wanted to, right? Okay. So, how do you want to do this? So I want to do this. I think I would do this in my classes because I don't know how can I do this in the university. So I can ask looking for this, but I think I apply this in my own classes because I think I will have the more space to adapt it to things that I think is not. I think it will be easier to do this in my own classes, but maybe I can for the university to make a project or make or use and say project yes, a project extension. I don't know. I can give the opportunities the university will have, but it's on my own classes. The final years of this learning how? Yes. Final question. How do you think this research improved your development as a teacher? How this contributed to your formation, to what you're doing right now? And not only this research, but the development of the DS and, you know, the process of research. this improved my teaching work, because when we are doing the internship, we observe teachers in routine with the students. So they just take the class, do to the students some activities, and there's no space for critical activities for language capacities development. And I think do this work, do the didactic sequence, the classes we have, improve my teaching practice, because when I prepare an activity, I will remember the didactic sequence, I will remember the types of questions, the material of types of questions I use for everything that I prepared. So I always try to put a critical reading question, or critical literacy question, not just the traditional practice. I use the material for everything that I do. So I always try to do one thing in my classes to improve with the students. Very proud here. That's it. Thank you so much.
Bom, então agora é aquela hora que todos vocês se retiram da sala para a banca deliberar. A professora Lucas, eu mandei um link para encerrar agora, a transmissão está sendo encerrada. A gente volta às 21 horas, 21h10, provavelmente, para a banca da Beatriz. E daí eu vou encerrar essa transmissão aqui. Eu te mandei um outro link, daí a professora vai entrar, aí você pode entrar.